Fly me to the moon and let me dance among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter or Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, oh, in other words, in other words, I love you.
Beyond the spectacular scenery and delightful climate of southern Utah is the world-class performers and amazing talented teachers that we have here locally. And one of those teachers happens to be Phillipe Hall. Thank you so much for joining me today.
My pleasure.
He's a vocal coach and an incredible vocal performer as well. And let's talk a little bit about how you got into doing what you do.
First of all, I would say I blame my friend and girls. Because I was in high school and I had a free period. He said, join choir. And I said, why choir? Who wants to do that? And that's where all the cute girls are. And I joined choir and found out I could sing.
You've performed all over the world, you know, on cruise ships in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. You go to Germany quite often, or you used to live there. So tell me a little bit about that background.
I've worked in a lot of different places. As you mentioned, I went to Germany to do a production during the summer and discovered how much work there was in Germany and Europe, and got offered another contract, and one job kind of led to the next, and I lived there for 25 years. It wasn't planned that way, it worked out that way, but I also enjoyed it very much. You know, I went to Europe thinking, wow, I'm going to sing and act and dance in Europe, this is amazing. And after a while it just becomes a home, and I was very happy there and loved the experience. So yeah, I've performed all over Europe.
Well, we are truly blessed to have you here in southern Utah and calling St. George home. So what about teaching? How did you get into teaching?
To be quite honest, in the beginning I was not interested in teaching at all. I was interested in performing and singing, and then I was thinking about what I could offer society and other people.
Let's talk about how you contribute to the local community and your teaching students.
There's a lot of talented people in St. George, and a lot of people are interested in singing, in performing, in dance, in the fine arts. In the academy, we get together for a weekly academy class. They each work with me individually. I coach them in a group class for nearly a year and teach them all about the voice, the anatomy, different styles, how to create different sounds. It's a lot of fun.
What would be some common patterns that you see in your students when they're coming to take lessons from you?
Everybody shares the same voice design. So our voices are nearly identical. They're just a little different shape and size.
I talk as deep as you.
A man's larynx and build is slightly larger, and that gives it a deeper sound. It's just a different size, but the instrument itself is identical. There are no other differences. So everybody has the same instrument, and it's only designed to work one way. Air flows through the vocal folds and brings them to vibrate. And then the sound, it gets filtered and changed on the way up and out. That's it. If you can breathe and talk, you can learn to sing. Actually, singing is really easy. You know, if you need to pick a small pin off the floor, you probably use your thumb and your index finger, right? Now, if I said pick it up with your thumb and your pinky finger, that might be a little bit more difficult. Now, if you picked up everything that way, you'd probably get really good at it. That's how we develop coordination. Singing is a coordination. We develop coordination through repetition. Repetition of the right things turns into positive muscle memory, and then it becomes second nature. Then you're not thinking about it anymore.
How have you seen students that have improved? Does it take a long, long time? Obviously, you've studied for years and years as a performer. You have multiple degrees in it. What would somebody expect if they were to start maybe getting into singing for the first time?
Of course, it all depends on what your end goal is.
Okay.
Anybody can learn to swim. Not everybody's going to win a gold medal at the Olympics.
Right.
The singing's the same way. What do you want? You know, do you just want to learn how to sing and feel a little bit more confident about what you're doing? That's not going to take as long as it would to, you know, become a professional singer. That takes a lot of dedication. A lot of people will tell you that it takes a very long time. That's also not true.
Okay.
It takes longer to train a singer that has been training with some bad information and has developed bad habits, because you have to get rid of the bad habits first.
Definitely.
Than it takes to train a beginner with the right information.
Yeah.
Both will get there. You can improve very quickly. I've had students completely change their voice in 6 weeks.
Wow.
I've had students where it took 6 months. It depends on how you train.
Let's talk about your program, because I love that you're doing this online course. So it makes it accessible for everyone, whether you're in Southern Utah or outside of Southern Utah, if you want to do it in the comfort of your home. So what does that entail?
I decided to put all of this content together in a course format. So it'll be an online course, and you can take it with you on your phone, on your tablet, on the computer, teaching the singers how the instrument works and how to learn to coordinate the activities of your instrument. I've been a professional singer for a very long time. I've spent well over $100,000 on my singing education.
Right.
So I'm trying to compress all of that down into a course that's understandable and easily accessible for singers. So there's a lot of value in the course. I want to get this out there for anybody, because it took me a lot of time and cost me a lot of money, and I was very frustrated, and I would have loved to have had this knowledge at the beginning of my career, or just if I had not have become a professional singer, I just wanted to sing better. If you know certain things and how easy it can be, it's just so much more fun. Then you're not going to waste time and money and go through this frustration. I want to save people from having to go through that.
You are, and it's definitely been a fun process for me to go through. And you know, you're doing wonderful things, not only with your academy and your online class, but you started a nonprofit organization as well.
Yeah, I did start a nonprofit. If we look back at the key point in development in young people's lives, when they need that extra infusion, it's really 14 to 18, because that's the phase where you get into college or you don't, or you become a professional athlete, dancer, artist, or you don't. We're looking for people to sponsor mentorship. That means to help pay for specialized education for these kids. Not everybody can afford it, and it does make a huge difference. So we're really changing futures one step at a time.
I love it. Well, we truly are very lucky to have you as part of our Southern Utah community. So thank you so much for sharing your talents with us today and spending some time to talk. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Whether it's hiking, biking, climbing the Red Rocks, or taking vocal lessons, I hope this has inspired you to find your adventure in Southern Utah.